From Barber Motorsports Park, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 3 coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle Season 17 Championship. A season only 2 races old, yet Finland's Sami Toikala has already established himself as the driver to beat. But with only 3 races remaining after today and an unforgiving rules package that requires near perfection for an entire campaign, the Finn is only 1 mistake away from falling out of title contention. Newcomer Ronald Grossman from Germany and the veteran Dutch driver Johan van der Velde are still within striking distance, keeping the point leader honest. Will Toikala make it 3 for 3? Will Grossman or van der Velde shrink or erase the gap to the point lead? Or will another name, either unknown or familiar, take the season on an unexpected path? Find out now, as all the simulated Skippy action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens right here on GSRC. From the heart of Dixie, hello and welcome. Way up in the press box to bring you our bird's eye view is Adam Young, joined by yours truly, Phil Soupson. Sean Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Adam, after opening the season at Road Atlanta and Road America, and with the next round being at Laguna Seca, the first 4 rounds of the schedule are all U.S. tracks, including today's location, Barber Motorsports Park.
Yeah, Barber, of course, being one of the newer U.S. full course, road courses that host a major event. So, only opening in 2003, and well, here it is nowadays. You have IMSA, you've got IndyCar. Even at one point, it was going to be the home track for a failed U.S. F1 team. But that's all in the past. Here today, we've got 16 turns. Of course, we're in the full layout here. 2.38 miles, 3.83 kilometers. It's the U.S. swing of the schedule continues. What better way to get a feel for Barber Motorsports Park than to take a lap around in the Skip Barber machine?
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman, the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Barber. Coming up to turn 1, it's a plunging downhill left-hander, and you want to balance the car into the throttle to keep her pointed forward. Right away, it chucks you into the Alabama roller coaster, which rises and drops while throwing a very late apex at you. It's important in the Skippy to get that great run out of here because it's going to lead into one of the few good passing zones on the track. Then it's up and over the blind crest for 4, but make sure you swing it back to the right and line it up for Charlotte's Web. The downhill braking for this hairpin makes it very easy to overshoot your apex, so drivers that are looking to outbrake their competitors need to make sure they don't simply slide off the track while someone pulls an over-under on you. From here, the circuit climbs over another little hump and then straightens before you hit Museum Corner. Some people attempt passes into here, but the last thing you want is to wind up too wide at any of the 3 apexes. That's because you're braking, turning, and clobbering curbs the whole way down the hill, so the car can't take much more in the way of changing directions. At the bottom, get fully back onto the gas and then swing the car right. You'll need every inch of track as you thread the needle through 10 and 11. This fast chicane means there isn't much in the way of passing on the back section of the course, though you might see guys throw away a position by going off track. Once more, drift off to the right, spot your turn in, and give it a little lift through 12. Make sure the car is settled as you put the binders on for 13. Then, be careful not to be too greedy getting on the power so that the crest doesn't send you understeering into the barrier on the outside. From there, it's another difficult braking zone through 14 and 15. The track rises but continues to slowly tighten until the tough-to-spot apex right at the very end. Hold to the right after that so that you can set the car up for 16, which has a surprising amount of banking. Just be sure you don't spin it by putting wheels in the dirt on the exit. Hopefully, though, you kept it on the track and finished your lap around Barber.
Joe Peak doing what nobody does better, talking and taking the viewers around the racetrack. This time, it's Barber. All right, let me take you a lap around the point standings, and I'll pull back the curtain here of how things work at GSRC. Truth be told, we write our openings ahead of time, so when we talked about Sami Toikala and Johan van der Velde and Ronald Grossman, Kurt Krohmann and Peter Butcher, we kind of assumed that they might be here. None of them ours. There must be some type of weird global holiday that I'm not aware of. So let's go through them anyway. As you see, Sammy Toikala, he's won 2 races so far. He's sitting at the top. Johan Vanderbilt, he's got a 4th and a 3rd. Ronald Grossman has a 5th and a 2nd so far. And I'll tell you, the U.S. fans are happy to finally see the Stars and Stripes on the overlay in the form of, who would it be there? Kurt Crum, and then, of course, Peter Butcher racing out of the UK. And again, none of those drivers are here. So I can pretty much guarantee that their point standings will remain the same. Remember, there are no drop races. I will talk about that in a minute. Let's go down and look at the F2 standings. A few of these drivers are here, not Ludwig Sauer last time I checked. Jaime Cravo is, let's take a quick look and see if he's here. Nope, he's not here either. But the Polish driver, he's been around for a long time. Wojciech Podolczak, he is indeed here. Look for him to move up the charts as his friend with Neptune. And his teammate from Street Trends there of Christoph Gieres. So the bottom 3, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all here for this one. All right. One thing that we know for sure is going to happen are the race details. Adam?
Yeah, taking a look at those race details here for today. This is round 3 of 6. There are no drops this season, so those guys that aren't here, this could hurt them in those points. We'll go a race distance now, 40 minutes. Of course, before it used to be 45 minutes or an hour. No, this entire season, every single race, 40 minutes. There is reduced fuel in these open setups. That means they're going to guarantee 1 pit stop here this afternoon in a 17 incident cap, which I don't think we're going to see a lot of people get close to that here today.
Thank you, Adam. So with that going on, we have qualifying going on right now. So at this place at Barber, passing is a little more difficult than it is on some of the draft tracks. Qualifying may be a little more important. With the small field, even if you qualify horribly, you're not going to be that far back in the pack. David Burns sitting at the top of the chart. Good opportunity for the defending champion to pick up some points today, get back in the championship hunt. I'm right on board with Burns. He works his way through 15. I'm sorry. Where is David here? So I can pick him up. Oh, he's just going through the S's. He's heading up towards the tunnel area.
Of course, Burns led practice there, so so far in the provisional poll, 0.6 of a second between him and second place Wojciech Podolczak. And really, I think if he's able to maintain this kind of momentum, he's going to be the early favorite here today.
Yeah, he's comfortably faster than the competition. But of course, this is the Skippy, and it's if you can stay close to the car in front of you, you always have a chance to make a slingshot pass on him. He's out of the final corner coming across the line right now. Put in a 136.111 before. Does he better that time? He does. He does indeed. 135.861. Ooh. He is now nearly a second faster than Poland's Wojciech Podolczak. Driver in third is Rob Adams. Opportunity for a lot of these drivers to pick up some big points today that we usually don't. They don't have the opportunity to do.
And Wojciech a minute ago was able to improve his time. Now down to about 0.3 of a second between him and David Burns, but coming back around, he looped it. So won't be making a better time this time around.
15 names on the entry list. We talked about David Burns, one of them being Vincent Bream. He's yet to put in a qualifying time. Bream is out on the track right now. That is Burns' Two Stupid Dogs teammate. A little more pulling back of the curtain here at GSRC. The lead commentator forgot to talk about the teams. I can just simply tell you that lap 1 experts are leading on that one. Oh, we'll go ahead and look at it right now. Our director will bring it up for it. A pair of Finns at the top, a pair of Germans down in second. Neither one of those Finns are here today. Neither one of those Germans are here today. Vanderbilt's not here today. Two Stuka Dogs, both of those drivers are here, so look for them to make a move up in the point standings. And Neil Barber doing all of the work by himself in fifth. I believe I did see Neil here. I'll check on that one. I did. Bambi is here.
Bambi is here.
Thank you, Director. I apologize for going out of order. Look at that beautiful Alabama sky pushing down on the racetrack. Do we have time to look at the weather, Adam, before we...
Yeah, let's get that pulled up here. You know, it's a relatively cool day for an Alabama summer day. 65 degrees, track temperature only about 77, southwest winds at 2 miles an hour, so wind's definitely not going to be an issue here for today. So pretty decent day out there. I think anybody in real world Alabama would take this kind of day today in July, where I'm pretty sure they are sweating. Yep. Well, yeah.
A lot of weather issues going on down in this part of the country. Look at Rob Adams. Continue to have 15 drivers in the field. Rob sitting third in qualifying. Whoops, that's going to move down a bit as Ari Seka comes in with a good time.
One thing I'm noticing at a lot of these cars, Soup, is these curves. I mean, right there, Rob Adams kind of does a half loop. These curves ain't playing very well with the Skip Barber machines here, and especially some of the sharper corners. The curves are high enough that it's actually almost launching the Skip Barbers in a way. There's a lot of suspension travel on these machines. See right there, Hocek kind of got up a little bit. I wonder if he ended up picking up an off track right there too. But that's going to be a concern as we go through the day. You're going to have to stay off those to stay safe.
Of course, Formula Neagle going back to its roots, back to the Skippy, after it ventured in and was doing the open-wheeled Renault car for a while, and then we did the Laura last season. Well, the Laura, the F3. All right, let's look at series veteran Eric Lupel. He's got a good one going, and he has a little bit of an off, so that one's not going to count. He's sitting in 5th right now. And here is Christopher Garros. As he falls a spot, as I believe Frederick Neptune might have just jumped him on the chart. Not sure. He drops down one.
We'll see if he's able to improve it. I mean, he's getting ready to come to the line here at the past pit entry. And that's the other thing. If you're not used to racing here, or, you know, if you haven't done a lot of laps, coming up over that that corner, got to remember which corner it is. Turn 14. You come up over turn 14, and it almost looks like the track wants to go straight. No, the straight part is pit entry. You got a little bit of a blind right-hander there that you have to take. That I've seen some people make that mistake before. Not that I ever have.
It is an interesting pit entry here at Barber. All right, qualifying is over. I believe just some drivers go ahead and see if they can finish out their hot lap. 13 drivers were able to put in qualifying times. 2 did not. Since it's a standing start, let's go to the grid right now. We'll take it a row at a time. Defending champion David Burns is going to be on pole position. He is flanked by veteran driver Wojciech Podorczyk. Adam?
RUF Haas and alongside Eric Lukul, they're going to make up row 2.
Row 3 has Rod Evans inside of Bambi Neil Bamber.
Row 4, Williams Martinez de Silva, alongside him the Christian Rule.
Frederick Neptune is going to settle into 9th position. He is cited by Christopher Garros.
Josh Brain and Troy Banks are going to make up row 6.
Casper Stilstead in the Baker's Dozen position. Vincent Bream did not put in a qualifying time, and I don't see him out on the grid yet. And then there is one more driver, John Torpy. He is on the grid, so we're just waiting for Vincent to take his spot. A little bit worried about him. He would be there, I would think, if everything was going well. His teammate, though, Two Stupid Dogs veteran David Third Degree Burns, defending champion, longtime veteran of the series, sits on the pole.
In fact, I would think out of everybody on the grid right now, David Burns probably has the most career starts. I mean, that's just an eyeball number. I would figure Neil Bamber and maybe Wojciech Podorczyk might be behind him.
Yeah. Few veterans in there. Frederick Neptune been around for a while. The question on everybody's mind is, The interval between the qualifying about a half second faster.
Oh, David Burns rolled on the start.
And he's still there. Burns does not go. Burns is at, my goodness, the question was, would anybody be able to stay with Burns because he was so much faster? That is now a moot point as Burns does not roll. That puts the lead to the veteran. Racing out of Poland, it is Wojciech Podolczak out in front. Eric Lukl, Ari Seahas, Rob Adams, and Neil Barber. The names may not be familiar, but the action is going to be heavy and hot.
David Burns, not only did he have trouble, I bet he stalled the car when it rolled a little bit on him. He had trouble getting it going again, but he's also going to have to serve a penalty for the car moving before the green flag was actually out, as Wojciech Podolczak under attack from Eric Lukl. Eric Lukel's going to back off, but doesn't want to take the outside there.
With Burns is having trouble, that changes the entire complexion of the race. The back half of your top 10. Goulet, Neptune racing in 7th. Guerreros, De Silva, and in 10th it is Josh Brain. Single file through the S's, heading up into 12 and 13 now. Good passing opportunity, nobody takes it.
Oh, right there!
That is Eric Lukl racing in 2nd, right in front of everybody, but he spins off the track. Careful bringing it back on. He puts on the brakes. Oh no! He almost gets in front. That was David Burns who finally got the car rolling. My goodness, it's happening from all directions as Burns is out there racing now. He has to serve his penalty. He almost didn't get it in there as Lukl almost rolled right in front of Burns as Wojciech Podolczak leads lap number 1.
Very, very active first lap there. I mean, and this is right into somebody else's off there. It looks like Josh Brain now having an issue as well. But I was going to say that, you know, you got past David Burns and Wojciech Podolczak. The middle of the field was going to be very tight, and now they're all up front.
We're going to take a look at this one as Josh Brain had an issue. And I could, did it involve also Frederick Neptune had an issue. He spun right in front of Guerreros. We don't have that one. There's Brain.
That just happened, I believe. So the teammates running into with Neptune and Guerreros.
Yep. Here we go. Now this is right in front. There he is. There's the spin. And his teammate gets him. Well, right on board with the man who T-boned his partner. Nothing going on live right now. We have this opportunity. Oh, my.
David Burns goes from bad to worse after serving his penalty. He is now looped it.
That's too bad.
He's taking a tow. I wonder if he's just going to call it a day.
I really think without this mistake, I really think David Burns had a shot. I know this seems ridiculous, but he was so much faster than the field. Let's watch what happened. I really think he had a shot to run down these guys. Not now. That's just one too many. Well, we are back live. Let's look at our leader. It has been a long time since I've got to call Wojciech Podolczak out in front, but Wojciech doing a great job. Out in front by 1.3 seconds. Great opportunity, Adam, for some of these guys to get some screen time that we see all the time. They're just always buried mid-pack. Seahas, Adams, Barber.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, of course, don't want to mess up while you're on the spotlight here, and you got a couple of these guys being aggressive on those curves here. Particularly, I'm noticing Wojciech here being pretty aggressive on the curbing. So I think right now he's just doing his best to try to pull away as much as he can from Ari Seahas, because Ari Seahas was faster last lap. In fact, Rob Adams was as well. So he's something to watch out for. They're a good ways back right now in the grand scheme of things when we're talking about hundredths of a second. But, you know, we still got almost an entire race to go here.
Eric Lukl, who had that spin, just got around Troy Banks. Now Lukl starting to pull away. Banks back in 10th. Luca will have the pace to run these guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at this replay, and we can watch this pass as Luca's going to make his way through the field. There it is. And Banks kind of knows the writing on the wall, just lets him go. And when we come back, we can come back live. We can come right back to Luca as he continues now to run down. He's going to get these guys pretty quick. John Torpy, Christopher Garros. Garros is going to have some issues as that car got made some pretty significant damage. Fastest lap on the track belongs to Eric Luke.
Eric Luke. Okay, I thought I heard something about fastest lap, but right there, I mean, he was a good 10th faster than what your leader was that last time by.
Look at this battle right in front of him there with Garros. Now Torpy qualified last, and I really think that Christopher Garros, who's in front of him, has some serious damage. So the car's not going anywhere. This is really going to heat up in a minute when Luca gets there. Not missing anything up front. You can see on the tower that the gaps are all pretty significant up in the top five. Well, it's a little close for a second. We'll check in on that in a minute. Oh, I love that camera shot. That's a pretty one.
It is. I mean, you be able to see here, especially if he hits a curb while we're looking at it, the suspension travel on these things is looks like Torpy's going to get him, get Garros right here.
There he goes. You can see Torpy getting that one. Now the third car in line is Luca. Luca was quick. Going to ride on board with the veteran Eric. He qualified fourth, but had that spin. He's trying to make up ground.
And he had a moment where he could have taken it a minute ago, but Garros definitely shut the door on him. But I think he's going to get him right here. Outbrakes him, and I think Garros also partly did not contest.
With that pass made, let's go ahead and jump up to third real
Torpy
quick.
really wide. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're going to look a little bit farther back. This is Josh Brain also making his way through the field as he got around Grilly. Nice battle going on back here from these guys. This also involves Banks. There's the mistake. Let's go. Potoczek is out in front by almost 2 seconds over the three guys who are chasing him. But this is a pretty good battle back here for second. Not so much with Seha, but Adams has been looking at him, and Neil Barber in the mix as well.
These guys have been running nearly identical lap times together here for the last while. As Ari Sejas really slides it here. Rob Adams actually had to get off the gas.
And Adam, you made a good point about, we talked about these guys getting a little spotlight, a little time. Look, I think we're going to see a pass here for third in a minute with Barber with a pretty good run. Barber's a veteran. He's had a lot of screen time. But my dad used to tell me, and I can attest to this in real life when I've had good runs on the track, the saying is when the light shines the brightest, the collar's sewn the tightest, meaning you tend to tighten up a little bit. It's a little harder to swallow when you find yourself having a good race, and that's what these guys are all doing right now.
Yeah, I like that expression, and it's very true. As Eric Lukal once again setting the fastest lap of the race with 36.4, but you know, he's got his own trouble up there. I mean, he's trying to get around Torpy, can't find a way around him here so far, as they got Neptune to worry about.
This is really the drive as Lukal, look at this. We've seen this from the Skippy so much when there's room down the middle. That is Neptune out in front. Torpy now that is Lukal tucking in. Eric, there's nowhere to put the car, is there? He tries to get to the inside. He makes it work. Careful. Torpy kind of closes the door on it. Woo.
I don't know if that was so much Torpy closing the door as Lukal saw what was happening in front of them with Neptune and thought Neptune was going to lose it right there. That was very, very close.
And again, Neptune's raced a lot. He's an experienced driver. He maybe doesn't have the pace, but he's pretty reputation of not making too many mistakes. Don't know much about John Torpy. Oh, there's a little bit of Torpy gets it on, and here comes Lukal. Oh no! He
Oh,
almost misses it, yeah.
These cars slide so much more than they used to. I mean, they are a blast to drive here, but man, you are hanging on.
There is a close battle for second, but it's not nearly as exciting as what we're watching right here, so we can stay here. This is where the action is. These guys are putting on a show. And again, this is the race that I thought that Eric Lukal was having. This is the race that I expected from David Burns until he just made so many mistakes. Here he comes one more time. Lukal now gets to the inside of Neptune. Oh, man, they clutch! Oh, and they're off. And Neptune was going straight, I believe. Well, maybe not. If we get a look at that one from a look like the driver on the outside kind of turned down into him.
Well, they just made
Yeah.
Lukal's job.
Use that little patch on the road as a indication.
Yeah, and I think he's taking the tow, and he's out of the car right now. So
Well, that's too bad. That was a great run from Lukal through the field. Boy, that did not look pretty from that angle. All right, let's come back live. We've been focusing a lot of attention in the back. Let's go back up to this battle for second. Really not much of a battle, more of a parade. Meanwhile, Potocek continues to just little by little lengthen his lead, now 2.3 seconds.
it helped the last time. Last lap before this was a 36.4. I mean, that's getting close to what Lukal was running. This last time was a 36.6, where those guys, Rob Adams was a bit faster, and Neil Barber was a bit faster, but not enough to edge anything into a 2.2 second lead.
And as you look at this, you can look at the tower there to the left. I want you to notice the name in 6th position. It is John Torp. He started in 14th. Probably not the pace of most of the drivers, but he's just managed to have some fun racing, and he's managed to stay out of trouble, finds himself up in 6th.
He does have the least bent front wing out of everybody.
Indeed. You get the guys behind him, Guerrero's, Brain, Grelle, these guys have all had trouble. Just about 27 minutes to go. There will be pit stops. And that again is something different for these guys, where the pit stop, they're used to making it, but maybe not used to having it be quite as important as it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, Hocek has a healthy lead here, still at about 2.2 seconds. I mean, that's kind of stabilized out a little bit. He was actually 2/10 slower this last time around than what Ari Sejas was. But 2.2 seconds, I mean, if you miss pit entry or pit exit for that matter and have issues on either end of those, that 2.2 seconds is gone, and it's gone a lot quicker than what you would think. I mean, all it takes is one slip up.
As we look at the battle for second, I can report that while Eric Lukal did take a tow, the man that he got hooked up with, Frederick Neptune, is still out there racing. Neptune back in 11th. With a small field, we'll have plenty of time to give everyone some screen time today, so stick with us. If you're a fan of drivers like Casper Tilstead and Troy Banks, if they remain racing, we'll get them on screen. Right now, we're going to focus up here on front of this 3-car train.
I mean, for as much trouble that we've had in the early part of this race, the fact that we've only lost 2 drivers that started it was actually kind of incredible.
They come around now. This is interesting to note this time as we watch as they come out of the final corner. Here at Barber, unlike many tracks, there's not a lot of time to snake somebody out of that final corner before you get to the start-finish line. Maybe these skippies can get there, but you got to have a good run to do it. not that long of a front straight.
Nah, there's really not a super long straight here at all. I mean, it is very technical in the way that you got to get through these corners.
3 cars head down into corner number 5, the hairpin. Sharp left-hander, back on the throttle. Now they're going to get down into this little 7, 8, 9 combination. Corner number 9 is nicknamed the corkscrew, at least on my trap map. Now don't get confused to where we're going next. Oh my goodness, there's a mistake from Adams, and I think that's going to open the door for Barber. He's now in his wake. And if Neil wants it, but that's not where Neil wants to be. He should be behind him if he wants to get the toe. I'm not so sure Neil actually wants this spot yet.
So far, this is one of the better 2 laps that Hocek has put together here. I mean, he's going to extend this lead by about 0.6 of a second over the course of just 2 laps, which is, you know, better than holding station where he was for a while.
Indeed. Round number 3 here. Basically, this will wrap up the first half of the season. Let's go ahead and look at 10th position. We watch this battle. This is Troy Banks being chased by Frederick Neptune.
Neptune trying to recover from that earlier incident there.
So Adams, as we watch this battle, if you want to think big picture, none of the 5 drivers in the top 5 were here today. And as here comes the pass, but Neptune, he's going to wait a little bit. Maybe the biggest name is the defending champion, David Burns, but he might as well have not been here today, although he will pick up some points, even though he's going to finish close to the bottom of the small field. There'll be something, but pretty much nothing's going to change when we go to round 4. It's still, I think, going to still be the same names that we just saw. I think the guys in the graphic department, there's the pass. The guys in the graphic department won't have anything to do much. I think they can just leave things static.
Well, I mean, you are the graphics department, so that works.
So Neptune gets that done. He is going to pick up a few more points. And remember, his team was in the top 5 in the team championship, so whatever Frederick can do, chip in whatever he can. All right.
Oh, RUF Haas.
Oh, a mistake.
He's going there through 2 and 3. He's going to slip all the way back to 4th.
Come back and look at it, Adam. What'd you see? Just a little hot?
It just got in there a little hot and ended up running wide. And I was just, okay, so he gets in the grass there. I didn't see that part. So big mistake from RUF Haas, but thankfully he doesn't lose a whole lot of time. He's able to latch on. And I was just getting ready to say, Soup, that, you know, Hocek didn't have the best section through there himself. So it was a good chance to maybe try to whittle away at a little bit of that lead he had, and then RUF Haas makes his mistake.
As we come back live, poker players will understand this phrase. There's a phrase in poker when it's called being on tilt, when you have the best hand, but the cards don't come your way, and you end up getting what is called a bad beat. You didn't deserve to lose, but you did. And then you don't play well. So for the next few hands, you end up losing more chips than you would because you're not focused. RUF Haas has to be careful about that. Has to be careful about being on tilt right now. Settle down, coach your breath. You still got, you know, half the race to go. In fact, as we're getting right to the halfway mark right now, it's about the 20-minute mark. You can see on that, go ahead, Am.
I was going to say, so the question now becomes, as always, about this time of race, who's going to pull the trigger or coming down pit road first? And looking at it, that might be Christopher Eros here. Torpy's in as well.
Having that great run. We did last. Made it all the way up to 6th. Christopher Guerreros comes on in. Now this is where it's new for these guys. These guys aren't used to they are used to having pit stops. They're just not used to them being so important. Torpy rolls.
And yeah, he was trying to get a little bit of his damage repaired there too.
Let's go up to 2nd real quick. Oh, and a mistake from Rob Adams. He puts it on the grass. He cut the apex. Careful as he's trying to fend off Sejas, and he does. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one.
See that, and that's dangerous there because that dip is enough. As Ari Sejas is going to go ahead and take that right and go down pit entry, but that's dangerous because that is deep enough there where you could actually damage your suspension.
Comes back on. He only loses 1 spot.
With all that happened, they lost another 2.5 seconds on Neil Barber. So that lead now up to 4.7 seconds.
Sejas backs out of that one and makes his pit stop, leaving Adams and Barber to race. Now, something to keep in mind, I don't know if it's going to matter to Barber or Adams, but there are bonus points for leading a lap. So maybe Neil would want to stay out there long, pick up that bonus point when Botek finally does come in, if he's has enough fuel to do it. Director, if we could we go back to 4th position? We really need to give this guy some love. William Martins de Silva. He's just had a nice, quiet race. Hasn't caused any trouble. Up a few spots. Currently in 4th. That'll really be 5th when the pit cycle rolls around. But a good run from him. Not causing any problem. Careful! See, that's a little issue going through there, but he gets it sorted out. You know, Adam, I think you're right. I think I got to get used to calling the skippies. I've called a million races, but they, in fact, here comes a pit stop now from Adams. They seem much more nasty than they did in the past. They really seem to get sideways more.
They really do, and you know, that new tire model and everything else. I took a break from calling this with you, just life and schedule and everything else, and even tried to run a few races with these guys, and it is a totally different car. But it's a lot like how the Skip Barber used to be, going back a couple of years, and put a lot of it back into the driver's hands, and you really are hanging on. Another guy making his pit stop too is Williams Martins de Silva. We haven't talked at all about him really here for today, and with how this race, the first half of this race went, it's one of those that if we haven't talked about you at all, you're doing all right. So, no drama or anything on his part here today. He's just running himself a good, clean race.
Looking at our leader. It's a good battle. Can we go back quickly to 6th position? There's a nice little battle going on back here. And this is Adams now. He just worked through Goulet. These are, let me make sure I check my notes. This is not Adams really. Goulet has not made his pit stop yet. That's why that was a little more exciting than it should have been.
Hochek coming down pit road.
All right. You had a nice, the Polish driver had a huge cushion. No reason at all to speed or make this stop anything more than just routine. Bring it in, take your time. Don't scrimp on the fuel. Take enough to get to the end. And he rolls. But we talked about it, the bonus point for leading a lap, and indeed, Neil Barber, I assume, got credit for leading a lap. Yes, he did. So he's out in front right now. So Barber stays out. Adam, what's interesting to note is R.A. Sejas has really gapped Rob Adams. Remember, they were racing together.
Yeah.
With Barber.
And they are way separated.
Yeah, it has to be pit stop times, one would think. Take a quick look. Adams' stop was 15.5. Sejas' stop, 12.9. Well, there you have it. There's your times. Look at that.
So it really makes you wonder why that stop was so long for Rob Adams. Watching Barber here come down pit road this time. That'll give the lead actually to Josh Brain if he doesn't come in this time here. No pressure.
Yeah, he's got to come in. Yeah, he does. What will be interesting, though, if we can pick up Seja, who is in fourth right now, just going past pit entrance. We'll see how this plays out with Rob Adams, or not with Adams, with Barber.
Oh, Neil
Barber is rolling.
See R.A. Sejas there. He's going to come out in front of him, not by a whole lot.
He's going to get out, not going to have much momentum, but he does shut the door there on Barber is out in front. So again, the big loser out of this three, Rob Adams. And I wonder, we saw Adams, you talked about him going over that dip and he can damage the car. I wonder if iRacing had some things to do in there a little bit, a little extra time.
And even then, looking at his lap times since he's been back on track, it doesn't seem that he has the pace that he did before. So, wondering.
Let's go ahead and look at fifth right now. I'm a little worried about Troy Banks, as he's the last car to pit. So Troy didn't have a lot of pace, and I guess that's what's going to allow him to go as far as he is. Let's hope he gets around. That driver behind him is De Silva that we were watching earlier, that Adam talked about, just having a quiet race. Now, William, you don't need to really make this pass. You may not realize this, but Troy's going to have to come in for a stop. Not just sit back here and wait. Just 2 more corners, and Troy will be out of your way.
Hopefully.
And here's pit entrance, and it'll just go straight on in. There you go. And Banks makes it to the pit lane.
Oh, here we go. Pass for second. Neil Barber wide. R.A. Sejas underneath him. Ooh, Barber almost gets off into that grass. That was close.
Boy, look at those cars in a drag race right now. But the preferred position goes to Barber, but watch the corner exit speed from Sejas. As he starts to close the gap, he'll have a chance to look to the inside if he wants. He's a half car length back. Barber kind of drifts over. Here he comes. He's there. He gets his nose inside. Barber cannot get to the apex, but fortunately he's able to get through the S's okay, and that battle continues. 3.5 seconds back to Rob Adams, and Adams is off the pace as these guys are driving away, even as they battle. Ride on board. We'll just simply talk about some of these guys while we watch this racing. We don't want to jump you around so much. Sometimes it's fun just to ride on and look at the car ahead. John Torpy, who was in 6th before the pit window. Well, that's where he cycles out at. Nice run from him.
If he's able to keep the pace that he has, he might have enough time to catch Williams, Martins, De Silva, that being John Torpy, but I don't think that's going to happen. Ooh, Neil Barber. See you right there. I mean, he was way off. That might give the Ari Sejas another chance here to attack. Not quite able to make anything of it.
That car that they just got around, that was Casper Tilstedt. In 12th, first car one lap down now. Best battle on the track right here between these two guys. They race about 7.5 seconds behind the leader. Photo check. Let's go back real quick to 4th position. This is Rob Adams, and let's see how he negotiates Casper Tilstedt here. We told you we'd give Casper a little screen time. And there's Adams getting around.
Now, while Neil and Ari here have been playing around a little bit, Rob Adams has been able to really cut into that gap between them. I mean, it's now down to about 3 seconds or so, where before that was about closer to 5 or 6. So Rob Adams is trying to make the most of it here, and as long as those two keep fighting, that's going to give Rob Adams a chance to get back into this thing. But only about 7 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, excuse me, about 8 minutes left on the clock.
The kind of fighting that Bamber and Sejas have been doing has not been the kind that, it's not been the leapfrog and jumping around on the straightaway. It has been putting the nose in before the apex. In fact, here comes another look at, they both make it in for second. They take a peek at it. Sejas is really, really, really pestering Bamber. In fact, it might be better for both of them if one of them could make the pass. Sejas is faster. He just can't finish the pass, and it causes him to be slow through the corners. 2.9 seconds, though.
Well,
Adams.
That's another half second. What, half a lap?
Yep. They worked through 7, 8, 9 combination. Now on the throttle. All this going on behind Potacek. We're going to check on him on that last lap. We'll watch him do a complete lap. We haven't given him a lot of screen time. You can see on the tower the interval between drivers, really not much happening on the track other than this battle for second. All the cars sprinkled evenly. Again, it'll be an interesting points race as nobody. I wonder if they all got together and said, you know, let's all take the day off. See all in round. See all in round.
They made up their own holiday
4.
instead of there being some international one we didn't know about. Which, I mean, we still wouldn't know about it.
That's a great camera shot our director has, looking over the left shoulder of Ari Sejas as he continues to try to run down Bambi. I don't want to assume that this is Neil Bamber's best finish, because he has raced so often and he's been competitive, and there have been some times when attrition has played a large factor. Certainly, I don't think he has a win, so it'll be as high as he's ever finished. The interval stretches a little bit now, back to Rob Adams, 3.2 seconds. Adams' biggest enemy is not pace, it is the hands on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that I think he knows it, so he's starting to push a little bit more, and I think it's the way this car drives sometimes, the more you push, the more time you actually lose, so I think he just needs to relax and just click off laps at this point. Whatever happens, happens.
Continue to watch this battle. Another advantage for Potacek with the small field is that he doesn't have to worry about lap traffic. You would think at this stage of the game and at this kind of short venue that we have here that he would be coming up on back markers. That's not the case.
No, he's just got clear track in front of him right now. Is already making another attempt.
Now he's on the outside. The preferred position is going to go to the car that's right to the driver's right. That is Barber. As they head down in here, look for the over-under. But you can't do the over-under through these S's because well, you might get underneath the next corner's the left, so it doesn't happen. He gets a great run. Now he's in the toe. But he moves out so quickly as they have to negotiate their way through the S's.
I think some of that might be the fact that even though that front wing is mostly just for show on these Skip Barber cars, he was trying to get as much air on it as possible, try to, be able to get a little bit more downforce going through the corner there. So that might be why it wasn't tucked up right behind him.
Both of Seha's attacks have been out of 5 on the way like into the 7, 8, 9 complex. So we'll take an eye on, we'll watch him again here.
Hocek going purple here again. Fastest lap of the race, 36.2.
Our contract requires us to put the camera on the leader for ever so often. As Vocek works his way through the hairpin. Up by 10 seconds on the guys who are battling back behind. That's cooled off a bit. And we promised you we would show you some Casper Tilstead action. He's 1 lap down, had a great quiet race, was able to get out of the ways of the leaders as they went by, racing in 12th. Safe to say his best career finish in Formula Neagle. The P2 battled well. They made it through the section that Seha likes so much without an attack from Seha.
Oh, Neil Barber really slides there, though. Shuts the door hard.
Now there is a good passing in zone here if he can get a good run out of this final corner and make an attack down into 1. He's pretty close. And again, notice how quickly they get to the finish line, which is right there.
It's going to put Rob Adams now with that last little exchange right there, almost exactly 2 seconds back. So he's coming. He's just running out of time.
Lap times of about 1:36. I don't think this is the white flag lap. I think we have this and 1 more. Which is good news for Sejas, bad news for Barber. Barber would really like to see that white flag wave as soon as possible.
Well, Soup, I actually think I think Hocek is going to get the white flag this time. That's good. That is going to be good news for Barber.
And there is our leader. So he works his way through the S's now up into what they call tunnel, which is 13.
Oh, here comes Ari Sejas. Thinks better of it going into the corner, backs out. At some point, he's going to have to try. All right, and Hocek is getting the white flag now.
There you go. So Ari Sejas will have 1 more bite of each of the 16 apples in the barrel that are the corners here at Barber Motorsports Park. And there goes one of the apples right now as they head down into corner number 2. 11 seconds behind the leader. he has been most aggressive. They're going to come up to the hairpin. This is going to be the left-hander, 180 left-hander. And this is where, after this corner, this is where Seijas has made the most significant attacks, and he has a pretty good run out of here, too. He'll have time. He's 2 car lengths back. Barber has protected to the inside each time, and he does again. Forcing the tight entry. Then the run through here. Seijas can get the momentum, but nowhere to put the car. Within shouting distance of these guys, 1.9 seconds back is Rob Adams. If these guys were to make a significant mistake, Adams would be there. They work now up into 12. Meanwhile, our leader is just going into 15. We'll stay on this battle as long as we can. We'll get the leader as he crosses the line. Potacek out of the final corner now. Let's give round number 3, season 17 of Formula Neagle, to the Polish driver, Wojciech Potacek. Congratulations. Quickly back to second. Out of the final corner, nothing but the checker flag waving in front of Neil Barber. He's able to hold up Ari Seijas. He'll take second. Seijas will have to settle for third. Rob Adams watches the whole thing from fourth. And then the rest of the field will come across. There are 6 drivers on the lead lap: De Silva, Torpy, Brain, Gires, Goulet, and Neptune. We'll watch them all come across. Great run, Adam, from John Torpy.
Yeah, able to bring it home after some early race trouble. Josh Brain, some early race trouble as well. He's coming onto the front straightaway to finish his race. He'll come home in 7th. Christopher Giros, he's going to come home in 8th, being chased by Casper Tilstead, who is a lap down, so he'll actually be finishing in 12th. And then the next closest battle, Christian Gruel and Frederick Neptune, not quite there enough for Neptune to make any kind of challenge. They'll finish 9th and 10th.
The last car to make it around, he's got a ways to go, into 15 right now, Troy Banks. Let's stay with it here, and we'll let Troy see the checkered flag out of the final corner. Nothing but that waiver checker in front of him. And as Banks gets the checkered flag, it's going to give an opportunity for us to take a short break here at GSRC. But don't go far. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, some names we haven't talked to in a long time before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League from Barber Motorsports Park. Welcome back to GSRC's Round 3 coverage of the Season 17 Formula Neagle Championship. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now. This is, for fans of this series, it's nice to see Wojciech Potacek at the top as he picks up the win in a comfortable victory. Neil Barber and REC Hospital second and third as they put on the show for us. Rob Adams was fast enough, but he had a horrible pit stop. Took him out of the mix for second. He'll have to settle for fourth. The very quiet run from William Da Silva as he comes home in fifth. John Torpey, a great run from him in sixth. We saw that. Seventh, eighth, and ninth. Well, that goes to Josh Brain, Christopher Guerros, and Christian Scoulet. And in 10th, it was Frederick Neptune. Adam?
Yeah, and then looking at 11th place on the back, which is pretty much going to round out our field here today. Troy Banks, Casper Tilstead is the only car that finished a lap down. But hey, he finished. It cannot be said for Eric Lukel, who ran into trouble despite being very quick. And we were expecting a big day out of David Burns, but it all went wrong for him even before the green flag came upon the field. Vincent Brem did not start the race today.
With that said, we have the opportunity to talk to a man who has been around for many a season. He took a few seasons off. It was wonderful to see him back racing again in season 17. I'm talking about the man from Poland, Wojciech Potacek. Congratulations, Wojciech, on a nice win.
Thank you, Soup. I hope now you will learn how to say my name. Maybe a free lesson right now.
Okay, let's have it.
It's Wojtek. The first name, Potacek.
Okay. I think if I said it, you'd have to say, I'm going to try a shot at it. Wojciech Potacek. How'd I do? Close enough?
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good.
See, and I blame Soup because he's the one that taught me how to say your name.
He's not the best teacher, I believe.
I'll tell you, I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. When I got my first assignment here, the first thing I did with my wife was practice your name. At least I was going to say it consistently. Hey, nice run today. You, it's been a long time, but I think you have wins before in this season, in this series, correct?
I know. I think last time I won was at Watkins Glen when I was battling Robin Rosenvinge, but I think it was like 10 seasons ago, and it was actually my only win in Formula.
I am really smiling ear to ear to see you do it. Nice to be back in the Skippy. You like the Skippy?
Yeah, it's really good. But to be honest, I know that today the grid was really small and there wasn't the competition that I deserve. But still, a win is a win, and I'm really happy. It's not only I finished the race, but I also won it because I was struggling a bit recently.
A win is a win, and a couple seasons from now, you'll forget what the field was like, and
yeah, probably
the number will still be there. That straight number one up and down. Hey, congratulations on a lot of problems out there for some of the guys. Was there any corners that gave you issues, or you seem pretty comfortable all the way through?
I would say that the Barber is a type of the track. I wrote it to the guys that you can die actually in each and every corner. So I wouldn't say I was feeling comfortable for the whole race. Probably the King is the worst, but I don't know how. But I hopefully avoided any issues there.
Well, we'll get you out of here on this. What I thought was interesting, and maybe you can explain a little bit. You put in the fastest lap of the race near the end, so it wasn't like you were racing at 90%. You must have kept your rhythm up.
It was about the rhythm, but honestly, you can laugh now. I was looking at my GRT, and I was looking at the wrong row. I was looking at the best lap, not the last lap, and I thought, oh, those guys behind me are still pushing, so I need to push.
So you thought you thought you had to work harder than you really did.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hey,
and I wasn't. Thank you. And I wasn't looking at the delta, so I wasn't paying attention how far they are behind me, and that's probably why I did the best.
I'm really happy, and I think all the fans of the series are happy with the win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Our winner today, I'm going to take a shot at it while you can still hear me. Wojciech Potacek. All right, that's as close as I'm ever.
That's really good.
Thank you. Adam, who you got? Oh, that's it. We have a small field here today. We have a small interviews as well. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Let's go ahead and thank everybody that made this broadcast possible, starting with the guys in the Absolute Beginner League. I'd like to thank them for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that gives every GSR broadcast that unique flavor and feel is thanks to June Lalonde. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. Formula Neagle returns for round 4 in 2 weeks. That's going to be July 28th from WeatherTech. That's Laguna Seca. GSRC will be there. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts. Check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. If you want more information about us, go to globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Grand. Hey, and while you're here, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that big red button on our YouTube channel. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Adam, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. As indeed, we saw Wojciech Pottercheck get the win here for round number 3 at Barber. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.